everyone, welcome back to Undermine, here on my lovely little Patreon server. So, we are, as you can see, here at the arena, which is evidently been getting some interesting effects added here. So, like, a number of these beacons are now color-coded, evidently, and this wall's been getting redone. Interesting. Not sure how I feel about all of the cobblestone, but the sandstone's a nice touch. I'm liking that. I am curious if there's a rhyme or a reason to this pattern into it, but very nice. And we are here because the arena has some maintenance that needs to be done. So, if you haven't seen the arena before, which is entirely possible, basically, this replaces gold farms, especially gold farms that go above the nether. So, you push a button, a specific boss is summoned inside of here, you are transported in, set to adventure mode, and have at it. And there's some additional options here, so you can, for example, forfeit, which kills the boss without giving you any loot for it. Or you can join in, so if you, for example, see a mate who needs a bit of a hand, or if you die and come back later, you can you can hop in using that. And there's also a reset to clear the arena, to clean the arena, to change your game mode and everything, and to also reset the boss timers, which are indicated by this very helpful silverfish. Now, we have three different bosses, which give 3 different values of gold blocks. And we've got Emeritus the Wither, we have Zarfun the Guardian, who also floods the entire arena, there's usually a fair bit of lag when he's in action, and King Moses the Slime, who is a big slime. He makes things very sticky. I actually have room for like 2 more of these here, at least, before I have to start changing up the way this is organized, and I do have plans for them, and I will be seeing to them, but not quite today. Today, I have a list of bugs with the current command blocks running this thing, and I need to see if I can fix them. And a little house somebody set up down there. Okay, so courtesy of my lovely subscribers, here we have armor stands are being eaten by the system. I can think of how that might be happening. We'll probably leave that to last, because that's probably going to be the easiest one, more or less. Survival mode post-battle, which means people aren't being set back to survival mode once the battle is over, and they're in survival mode midway through the battle, which we don't want because it enables them to put blocks inside of the arena, and we want the arena to remain unchanged. So that's a problem as well. And our last thing is, apparently, every now and then the arena gives you a free, like, set of gold blocks. And I'll be honest, I have almost no idea how that's happening, because it should only be given to people who are in adventure mode. And only right as a mob dies, so I don't know why that's happening. But there are things we can definitely handle. So, armor stand eating is definitely happening over here, I think, because this all uses armor stands. And it uses armor stands so that we can scatter the mobs and know where we're putting them, rather than scattering every single instance of the mob we've already got in play. One other little thing I do actually need to note, this is the system that I originally constructed to make sure that King Moses died. Because King Moses, being a slime, and all of his minions being slimes, whenever you'd use the /kill command on a slime, it splits. Like, the slime itself dies, but then its split happens, because that's part of its on-death function. So I originally had a loop that just kept going until it couldn't detect any more slimes. But Sparks, who was at the World of Madness Christmas party, yes, that's how long ago I heard about this, mentioned that there's a much easier way to do this. Teleport the mob under the world. So, 250 blocks gets them either right above the void there, or straight into it because they're only at 209. And then anything else that comes out of them is under the world, so they can't possibly have any issues. Really, really efficient, actually. So this whole thing has been replaced by that one command. Which is both, like, really cool and slightly depressing, but oh well. I'm not going to complain too heavily about having fewer command blocks running on the server. So let's just get rid of this. There we go. Okay. So that's one little piece of tidying up I had to do. And let's see, so 3 gold blocks, I don't know where that's coming from, honestly, but the survival mode I can probably guess. So when you are placed into, like, when you're placed into the game, like when the boss is spawned, and when you are teleported in and your game mode is set, it is handled by these command blocks here, which are color-coded for our convenience. So the green sets your game mode, the timers then get reset, and you are teleported in, and then the boss gets summoned. I think what might be happening in that case is that the game mode is firing at a specific position, and then the teleport is happening first by whatever strange, like, quirk of magic. So, to resolve that, we need to have a second game mode, or possibly just have a game mode over there, I'm not 100% certain, which sets everyone's game mode inside of the arena. So with that in mind, let's see what we can do. Now the other idea that we can have is just assign a value to everyone and then teleport everyone with that value and set everyone's game mode with that value, and that would probably be like the main thing that we want to do. So if we have a look at our scoreboard currently, so scoreboard objectives list, we have wealth, which everyone has based on the golden apples. We have MLAT, which I don't recall exactly what that does, honestly. It's been so long. Boss determines which entities are a boss monster, so that I can perform the different effects from them. Undeaded is players who have just recently died, so we can have those zombies. Startup just sets everyone's initial values, more or less, whenever I tweak it to 1. Spend is whenever someone has eaten a golden apple. Health is, of course, their health. Fire tracker checks to see if someone is on fire. Well, actually, no, that is used to check for flaming arrows and make them actually set things on fire. Boss item is a specific category of entities, so that's the minions, that's various objects that they spawn, so it can all be cleaned up at the end of a battle. And add counter limits the amount of additional mobs a boss can spawn. If I didn't have that, then mobs like King Moses would just flood the arena over time and potentially like the server. So we are going to add a new one. So / scoreboard objectives add, and we need a few things here. So we need a name, and we're going to call it arena, because why not? And we're going to call it a dummy name, and we don't need to have a display name for it, so we'll just do that. So the first thing that we are going to do with this is we are going to set everybody's everyone at the button pressing zone there, the control boards, and we're going to take their coordinates and I'm going to add them to the score of my brain is terrible today, jeez. To the score of arena. Very straightforward. Now that does mean we have to shift this forward a little bit, but that's not a huge issue. So let's see how we're going to do this properly. Well, it would be easiest if we just had that right there. So we use this, we'll just grab the coordinates from here. So there are the coordinates of our control board. So we want scoreboard players set, I think is it. Just do that for the moment. So scoreboard players set. Okay, so then we want the target, the objective, which in our case is arena, and we want to set it to 1. So there, that ensures that they're all going to have that right score. Now, I'm pretty sure this actually functions properly, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about that. And then the next thing is we target this, instead of targeting their game mode, we just target the players that actually have a score of a score of. Why is my brain? Wow, I would almost be concerned here. Jeez, that have a score of arena equals 1. I think that's exactly how you do it. Let's have a quick poke and look. Type golem, range 100, bolt star, nope. Where are you? Where's a good example? No, that's not going to do it. Ah, of course, over here. Okay, so this one is particularly used by Emeritus to control the AoE effect of his wither shards. Whoops, so much stuff suddenly. Okay, so everybody there gets set to arena score 1, within 8 blocks of there. Whenever this button gets pressed, whenever any of these buttons get pressed, which actually is a bit of a problem. Give me a sec to work this out. Right, so some time has passed, and this is now a little bit more, like, tidy, honestly. A little more tidy than it was before, because I realized basically every button here resets the timer, so there wasn't any point in having a command block for each line, just have one up here where every single comes through. That made more sense to me. Anyways, so, now, all of these commands, or at least a lot of them, rely upon your score in the arena objective being 1. Basically, this is a way of having a group outside of the actual group system, because we actually have a use for the groups on the server. If you see here, my name is in red. That is because I'm in recording mode, which is a sort of special alert for when people are doing videos on the server. So having that be my group would then also mean that I would jump in here, be out of it, and then leave, and I'd be back to normal, which would be not good. So, now, whenever you push the join the fight or any of these bomb summoning buttons, your score in arena is immediately set to 1. After that, you are then, after a very slight delay to make sure that the command goes through, you are set game mode and teleported. And that only applies to people with a score of arena 1. So basically, if your score is still 0, you should not ever be teleported or have your game mode set. So let's just go have a little demonstration of that. Way up here. Okay, we won't summon anything, we'll just use the join the fight button, because that does the trick. So my score is 1, I'm now in adventure mode, and there's a creeper, oh joy, and I don't have any weapons on me. So, yeah, definitely adventure mode. Definitely adventure mode. Okay, excuse me, Mr. Creeper. I'm kind of trying to show something off here. Not that you can really do much, but, you know. So, hit this. My score is not changed, but I have been, altered. I will be changing that later. I think I just need to add, one more command block in there to change your arena score when you leave it. But, for now, that's set me back into survival mode, so I can do a bunch of stuff again. So that is one bug fixed, and oh yes, I almost forgot. The commands over here that distribute the loot have also been updated to reflect this, so it only gives it to people with an arena score of 1. And I don't know how you would possibly kill the bosses outside of that, but you could. And I've also got this block down here which resets players to survival mode. That's not strictly speaking necessary now, but I'm keeping it here just in case. Because, you know, it could be handy. Because this is for whenever there are no bosses, basically. So, when exit timer is 0, everything runs through. The only way that this can be 0 is if there haven't been bosses for a while. So the gold goes to everyone that did it, and the game modes are all handled appropriately. So the next job that I have to check out, hopefully that solves the gold blocks issue too. I'm not sure exactly what was causing that, and I can't think of how to replicate it. Next thing we need to figure out is the armor stand eating. Now, that, I am pretty certain, is due to all of these. See, almost every boss has this, this pillar, which means that everybody that puts armor stands around here is going to have them eaten, which isn't good, and oh dear, my ponytail is gone. Huh, happened there. There we go. Much better. Oh, very strange. That must be left over from when I was filming on World of Madness. Jeez. Which pony did I lend it to? Let's try to remember what the name is. There. Okay. So to fix that, we need to create another objective, or we need to try and add it to the boss items list, but that will also affect other things. So we'll just create a new objective. So scoreboard objectives add, and we want arena stands, and we want it to just be a dummy. So whenever we do this, we need to extend these out another step so that we can add in a couple more blocks, so that we can ensure that all of the armor stands that get summoned, and they were all summoned by the boss, so we can always just use the boss as a reference point, are added to that arena stands, and then over here, when we eventually kill them all, we just target those that have the score of arena stands. In fact, we won't even need the boss, so that'll make that a bit more reliable as well. So that's how that'll go. This is going to take me a bit of a butts long time to do as well, because I got to move this wall. Oh joy. But yeah, so that is how we'll fix that, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching me tinker with this. I always love playing around with redstone, especially when it's like incredibly functional redstone like this. So I'm going to call it that for this particular episode. That's not saying the sidebar forever, I promise. And that's the arena, ever so slightly more functional. So next episode, we're probably going to be heading down into Ravine Town, and very soon we have the monthly event here on Undermine, and that is going to be, oh god, that's going to be interesting. And I'm pretty sure I'll be adding a new boss to the arena when that event is completed, so look out for that. Otherwise, I've been a floating lying head, and I shall catch you all next time.